Thank you very much, and thank you very much for inviting me here today. I'm going to be as brief as possible, but I'm going to just give an overview from our perspective of the relationships between Indian and UK higher education institutions. My organisation is funded by government, and we represent all UK higher education institutions. And the reason why I'm saying that clumsy set of words together rather than just universities is because we have a really diverse, autonomous higher education sector in the UK, which is all underpinned by excellence, but it also has different missions. And we have very small organisations and agricultural colleges that excel, for example, in agricultural science, as well as the large research-intensive universities. And it's my pleasure to represent all of them. And from the perspective of our unit, we see the opportunities of engaging with India, but we also see some of the challenges, and I'm going to just go through some of those. To start with, though, I do want to talk about the fact that we have presently, I think in the UK, the second largest group of students who come are from India. They're vital to the academic environment of our universities. They contribute hugely to science, technology, engineering and maths. Particularly in the PG, postgraduate taught and research areas, there has been a large drop in the last couple of years of students coming from India, and we think some of it is down to miscommunication of the actual situation in the UK. There has been, because of the domestic changes to the UK and changes to the visa regulation, misinformation that the UK will no longer accept international students. That is not the case. The UK is open to all international students, and there's also been misinformation about work-study routes. Quite often we're asked that the UK no longer allows students to work after their studies. If they find relevant work, they're very welcome to stay in the UK. Now, I'm saying this so emphatically because we are actually also dealing with a government's immigration policy that is committed to reducing net migration and insists on retaining students in that number, and have made onerous changes to visas that make us less competitive. So I'm not saying that it's a perfect situation, but I am trying to stress the fact that we need to make it very clear in all of our statements that the UK really welcomes and values the contribution that Indian students and alumni and academics make to our political, social, economic environment here. We have a fantastic, long historical relationship. I was very privileged in the past to work for the British Library, where we were digitising the India Office records, which go back from 1648 all the way through to independence and show the breadth of political, social, economic engagement. There are very famous alumni relations. Indian businesses are working with the UK. A current example is the University of Warwick's Warwick Manufacturing Group hosting a new £92 million innovation campus, a partnership between Jaguar Land Rover, Tata Motors and the UK government. And I think there's a lot more that can be done in that innovation business space. There are big research collaborations. In the last 3 years, over 100 million of UK-India joint-funded research programmes have been agreed. And there's some good examples. The India Department of Biotechnology is funding 11 million over 5 years with Cambridge in a centre based in Bangalore. And there's also innovation in teaching. And all of these innovations are coming in because of the massive growing demand for higher education. I'm not quite sure how this clicker works. Oh, here we go. Not only is there huge demand for tertiary education in India, the enrolment in absolute terms is forecast to outpace China's growth between now and 2020. India's university-age population is rising and will reach 116 million in 2020, and that's almost 50% more than China. But the scale of demand means that India will have both more young people at university and more young people not at university. And skills and training is a massive gap in India that needs to a real challenge to the Indian government about how to look at not just the school-age population, the skills, and building up a higher education system. India is forecast to be the single largest source of future growth in outbound tertiary students, between about 71,000 between 2011 and 2020. So that's the demand, and they have huge ambitions and a plan to build innovation universities, 50,000 more colleges, 1,000 more universities, and that's in the 12th fifth-year plan. I have to say, though, that those plans, we've heard those plans many times by different higher education ministers in India, and they seem to take a long time in coming. So the 14 innovation universities, for example, that the UK have been talking to India about, have not materialised. What has been happening is a maybe more pragmatic approach where there have been partnerships. So Delhi University partnering with an IIT can now partner with a UK university. And we're very interested in exploring how we can practically do things, because I think one of the issues for UK institutions engaging in India is how do we do it? You know, under the umbrella of something called UKERI, UK-India Education Research, there's a government-to-government agreement that facilitates smallish grants in innovation, teaching, training, research that allows people to just get on with things. And there's some great relationships that have been built up between universities in the UK and India. Networks of researchers meet, they do stuff, and then hopefully they also apply for bigger grants from other sources. But at an institutional level, there are lots of barriers to engagement. Okay, I'm nearly there. But I'm not very good at PowerPoint, as you can probably see. So the challenges are the multiplicity of regulators, uncertainty in the approval process for partnerships, the long-awaited foreign providers bill that's still sort of there but it's not going to happen, I think. Opportunities, there's a new funding arrangement that's going to allow states to build up the capacity of the higher education universities themselves. It's not going through the University Grants Committee. It's a separate stream of funding, and we think that the RUSA scheme has huge potential and great opportunities for UK universities to get involved. And also UKERI is being assessed at the moment. It's the second series of UKERI funding, which is $5 million a year. And we hope there will be a UKERI 3. We're certainly supporting the idea of one. So in the longer term, there's huge potential. It's a fantastic country. It has enormous wealth in its economic and potential, but also in its universities. They have some of the great departments in JNU, Jadavpur, Calcutta. I've been to many of the universities, and they've got some fantastic academics there. But most of the academics lose their students after undergraduate level because they go and do their PhDs overseas. So one of the challenges, I think, for the UK is how can we help India to really build a fantastic higher education system that allows its brightest students to stay in India and have collaborations with us and with universities in other countries too. Thank you very much.